Hello there everyone, this is iMark3 and welcome back to a bit of Captain of Industry. Yes, Captain of Industry, where I have another one of those so-called temporary facilities in front of me just here. Yes. I finally realised it's like, I do need some higher tier materials, not a large amount, but at least have something. So I decided to put something, and then it's like, I put in one set and it's like, oh wait, this thing outputs enough oxygen for two, so what are you going to do? You're going to double it up. So I can now make steel, as you do. What are you short on anyway? You're short on exactly nothing. So I don't know why you're not working. Anyway, yeah. I know this is slightly sooner than normal. It'd normally be like an Injury to Titan video for this one, but it's like I want to accelerate how fast I'm doing stuff, and I'm also kind of dissatisfied with the last episode. Last episode didn't feel quite right, so this one I'm going to try and do a bit more, as I said at the end of last time, but there's several urgent projects demanding my attention, including these holes in the ground which are growing forever bigger. I've just added a third coal mine over there. The iron one is successfully laying waste to this mountain, as it does, and I've actually started digging deeper into my sand pit, among other things. So yeah, that's going well. Actually, that looks quite nice. Copper ore does actually look quite nice. Yeah. Oh well, I've not really done that yet, but anyway, let's move on. One of the more urgent projects is this little thing over here. Big flashing yellow warnings. Yes, that's a red warning up there saying not enough maintenance. That's because iron was struggling to keep up. But yeah, 13% crude oil. I have been faffing around so much in this game. I've almost tapped out my first deposit, and I'm still running on just the basic power generators. It feels kind of bad to say, but there you go. Shows how efficient I'm being. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've updated this bit a little bit with more pipes. I've got level 2 maintenance buildings just because it's more efficient than the level 1s. It's just waiting on, again, iron to come through. I was saying at the end last time, like a big facility for iron would be great, and that was my main plan, but there's several pulling me in different directions, as I said before. Also, more pipes for water, and more tapping for water as well. I'm slightly worried because I think the reserve is slowly going down with 3 groundwater pumps on it now. But I'm guessing it could take 2 relatively well. Anyway, enough of that. Enough poking around and doing stuff. Let's actually poke around and do stuff. Yes, I just said I wasn't going to do that. Okay, right. Mr. Shippy. We have the technology. If I tell you I want to do this... mechanical parts and iron. Yes. I can't do that one. I thought I could do that one, but apparently I can't. Was the tech tree lying to me? No, there it is there. Ship armor plating. Our crew's looking forward to testing the armor. As a rule of thumb, the armor you want to be testing is not the armor you're hiding behind. Also, large generator. That should help with a bit with power, but we've got more drastic plans to lay into motion. I want to know. Oh, is it because I'm guessing I'm going to do one thing at a time, can't I? Okay. Another thing is, this guy is basically a duplicate of this guy. So this guy I can just scrap, and I think I'm going to do that because I want to get something fairly long term in terms of fuel production going. This area is not ready. It's going to be over here. I can import coal. I'm guessing I can import other stuff as well. But we also need to rig up a power plant for it too. So, let's go ahead and get started on that. Let there be power, because I have unlocked many, many things. Including a burner to burn solid waste, which I don't think I'm ever going to do. Why did I bother researching that? Oh yeah, because it's a branching tech. Right, because it links to other things. There's the big diesel gen. Oh look, tier 3 parts. I don't have enough yet. We need better power supply. Well, that should be enough. Is it going to be enough? I don't know if it's enough, but it's what it's going to have to do for now, I suppose. Right. Another one of my quote-unquote temporary facilities has gone up now. And, well, I find it ironic considering a comment from Happy Hafer, if I'm going to be entirely honest with you. But yeah, I'll run you through this fiendish thingamajig I've put together. Right, so first off, cargo depot with a fluid module attachment. First time I've built these guys, but apparently it's like these guys slot on the side. There was an area reserved by the cargo thing here, so I'm wondering if that's for higher tier cargo depots. But yeah, unloads at 108, so distillation stage 1, because that is actually a goal. Do the stuff, though it says connected to a groundwater pump, so I don't know. But yeah, that breaks down crude oil with steam into medium oil, heavy oil, and sour water. Got 2 of them. Sour water is being routed over to this thing here, which is going to be dumping sour water and wastewater? Wastewater, yes, wastewater. There we go. Right. Next to it, of course, in our good old plan of keeping water uncontaminated, we have another seawater pump feeding into this basic distillery you just saw here, which is in turn producing water. Not quite enough for the maximum output of this facility, but it's not meant to do that. So yeah, produces water, which of course goes through this way, which connects into these 2 over here, which are boilers. I've got a gas boiler and a coal boiler, and these are connected into a pipe balancer, which is set so that it will prioritize steam coming through from the gas boiler, but the coal boiler is there as a kickstarter to get the system started up. It's loaded directly by truck in terms of coal, and then it will power up, and once there's some products flowing around, the gas boiler should take over. Getting back to that, right, that's where the heavy oil from stage 1 distillery is going. Then from this tangle of pipes, the medium oil is going into stage 2, which is getting cracked down with more high power steam into diesel and light oil. The light oil is once again flowing out into the boilers, so that's where most of the power for this setup is going to come from in terms of steam. Though there is actually something else I'm just cheekily running off the side for it, because my power requirements have been jumping around the place. So yeah, do that. Right. These are the steam outputs are plugged into this balancer, right? It has a priority output for the distilleries, but then there's another cheeky little tube off the side here, which is plugging into a high pressure turbine. It should be operating at about half to 3/4 capacity, depending on what the rest of the system is doing at the time. But about half capacity, I think, should be about right. But yeah, that can take the full output of, well, half a boiler. So it should be all that it needs in terms of bleed off, so that'll be running at full power. That's plugged into 2 3 megawatt generators, which produces 2 megawatts of power output, which is a sizable portion of our power requirements. Then, just to be super efficient, I have spent my first tier 3 construction materials in a cooling tower, which will convert the low pressure steam coming out of this turbine back to water, and then that feeds back into the whole system through a priority merger in the water pipeline. So any water coming back from the cooling tower gets prioritized over water from the pump. So yeah, that's a system, I guess. It's a system, all right. Though, of course, there are some things I've forgotten, like, I don't know, I think it might be important here, just a little bit, kinda, sorta, maybe, but maybe getting the diesel out of the system would be a good idea, you know? Though that said, of course, we've actually got more diesel than a single pipeline could handle, and just for some simplicity's sake, I'm just going to whack in 2 pipelines, I think. Just like that. And then just run it like that. And done. Right. And then that'll be a fuel supply. Then lastly, of course, we want to actually get a fuel station, which is... I forget where that is. Hang on. There it is. I just saw it. There it is, right. So a fuel station, which is going to go into here, and then this fuel station will take over, ideally, from that. So, all this is well and good, you might say. Yes, it's all very well and good, with one slight problem. Where's the oil coming from? It's coming from this thing. And where's the oil coming from for that thing? Well, I don't have that stuff yet, and this is ticking ever downwards. It's down to 10% already. So, yeah, that 3 sets of derricks is really doing a number on it. Okay, so it says cargo depot has no cargo ship, so that implies that I need 1 cargo ship per depot. Though if we have a look at this guy, you are halfway through. We'll need that guy to upgrade before we can do much of anything else. So let's actually get on with a big, very helpful comment from Capier from the last part. So, yes, here we go. Right, if I remember right, ammonia is used as fertilizer in real life, or at least in the production of it. I wonder if later research lets you make chemical fertilizer with it. Actually, you are correct. Ammonia, nowadays I think, is mainly used in fertilizer production, but it's also a sterilizing agent, and it used to be used in sterilization of food, though that has been cycled off because it's also a contaminant. And ammonia-treated food was eventually being ruled in many places to be unsafe for health, so a lot of places are moving against that, if they haven't already. So, yeah, ammonia is also that. Do I have it on my list? I do not. I don't have ammonia yet, though we can actually do a quick cheeky little check on here. Ammonia. And here it is, sulfur processing. Sour water could be scrubbed in the sour water stripper to produce some with a little bit of high power steam to produce sulfur, ammonia, and water. And that help us close the loop on that little thing I just put together. So that's actually one of the things I want to be getting to, and it's not that far out of reach. I forgot to mention, but I've actually upped to 3 research labs instead of 2, just to get research going a little bit faster. I mean, 50% is nothing to sneeze at. Okay, moving on. Next part of the comment. And about what I said regarding farms and water, you pretty much did what I suggested, just with the need of an upgrade for the pipe intakes, which, by the way, as I mentioned earlier, I have upgraded further, including this pipe being too slow, so I upped it to a tier 2 pipe, and that let the water flow through properly, though I am somewhat concerned about the water table in the area, even with just 3 pumps. That tells me that's entirely unsustainable in the long run. I want to plug that into seawater source as much as I can, really, but hang on. Nowhere to dump stuff? Who's stuck? You're coming back. You've got dirt, actually. Where was I dumping dirt? Oh yeah, it was over here. And yeah, that is actually quite full. Okay. I will tell you, you may dump dirt in this area for the time being then. Just dump that dirt. And I will tell you, you can dump it like... right here. I'm sure that'll give them plenty of time, won't it? I mean, these are full as well, and Project Unity with Nature is going quite well too. Lots and lots of lovely trash in the area. I need to start paving this with slag soon. I've got a mountain of slag as well over there too. Look at all that stuff. Yeesh. Okay, moving on. Unfortunately, the tier 1 farms were not taking delivery of any water at all, and the tier 2s, I've not actually seen a tanker truck dropping off water to the irrigated farms. Though I suspect it can, because it's got that internal tank. The other one, soil water level, without the irrigation, that's just a measure of how wet the soil is for the farm. Then there's not actually anything you can do about it. So the upgrade to irrigated farm is entirely necessary. Now, for some reason I'm producing potatoes a lot better than I am producing vegetables. I'm not entirely sure why. Because they should... oh, 7.2 versus 9.2. Oh, that would explain it, actually. Oh, I did turn off the extra food edict as a by-the-by. So that's not running. Because I realised I was running a bit short on food. I have, however, since starting this episode, turned on fuel saver and maintenance saver, because both of those were having issues. In fact, maintenance is still having issues. Why is maintenance having issues? Still no metal. All these idle trucks. Whenever that gets to be, say my truck network's very busy, I just build 5 more trucks. So I've probably got more trucks than I need in general, but you know. Anyway, next part. There's one more part, which is the bit that I said was ironic, considering what I've just done over here. I mean, look at this lovely, glorious tangle. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Of course, the trucks can't really get in here anymore, which is why this one in particular, I don't think I can get any oil to directly in terms of manual delivery. Not that I'm storing oil manually anyway, but this one I think trucks can still reach if they would really put their mind into it, like through there. But yeah, still have to wait on some of that stuff. Oh, I depleted my tier 2 parts, that's why it's not all gone up yet. Okay, last part. At the end, you're wondering what kind of big multi-output assembly area you can build. My question is, given how high you can stack pipes and stuff, can you stack buildings? I mean, what's more complex than stacking some 2D belts in a weave? A tight 3D stacked belt in a weave? Well, I've got 3D pipe stack here. The fact that pipes can go vertical makes them very conductive to tangling them all up like this. But that said, unfortunately, while you can raise or lower a basic building by 1 point, I say as I pick a building that you can't raise or lower by 1 point. Thank you very much, game. There we go. Up 1, down 1. So as you can see, it's giving terrain collision warning, so I think it has to be have a certain amount of space available to it in terms of flat support before you can build it. Now that's saying it's got collision. Yeah, look at that. It can withstand a little bit of terrain difference, it seems like, because that's off the edge a little bit, but it's still staying. I can build it. Then a bit too far, and it won't let me. So yeah, unfortunately, we can't stack the buildings. We can do the tangle of belts though as well. I mean, this is a very nice little tangle here, but the tangle I had in mind was actually I wanted to build like a solution to my iron issue, as in more iron smelting, mash the steel smelting in there as well, and have a glorious foundry going. And I think I will still do that. There are some higher techs and things, but the thing is they're in like tier 3, tier 4 research. So if I'm going to solve my immediate iron problems, I ought to kick it out and just do with my current technology available. So using tier 1 belts and all that jazz. And there's also the fact that molten channels, there's no upgraded version of these, but they do put through at twice the speed of the basic conveyors and stuff. So they are still pretty good. But there is just a limit to it. Recycling. I can now recycle my waste. But waste is essential to project one with nature. So I must keep producing waste to do that, I think. Actually, let's have a real quick look. Waste. Where's the waste? Waste? Right. Waste collection does that. I can burn it, incinerate it, compact it. Oh, right. This works with recyclables. Oh, wait. Doesn't tier 2 of these produce recyclables? It does. Oh, it's still doing tier 1 stuff. I actually need to do that. Otherwise, I can't do the more efficient production of maintenance. Now, the problem is I never actually built this place to accept that, so... Ah, look at that. The smokestacks are working. That means that things are happening over here. Ooh, smoke from that one means that we've got this one producing steam now, which will reduce our coal need, and we're starting to get some fuel output into there, and that is doing very good. Very good. Though I admit I had to cheat slightly by jump starting the system. Crude oil input here. Told it to keep it full on tanks at a high priority. And that's because I am manually shipping in oil, not from over here, which is at 3%. Oh dear. Actually, that might be an issue for rubbers soon. Ignore it for the moment. You saw nothing, right? Because over here, I've got some oil production going on to give them a source. So this deposit is going to give me some resources going on. In other news, I've realised our tree planters are a bit on the incompetent side. If we just watch this one here. Here it comes. See how very slowly and very carefully it's doing that? Got to remember, this is measured in days. It spent days planting one tree. But I have got this forestry thing up doing that, and it's set to 80% because functionally I didn't really notice the difference between 80% and 100%, so might as well have it on 80%. I guess 100% means that it waits a bit longer, but this area is full of trees already anyway, so that's fine. Conveyor belts 2, I won't be doing that anytime soon. Move fast over here. Power levels are dropping quite a bit, but this area is kind of struggling. Luckily, distilling does not actually require energy, so this thing can do its own stuff, really. Or at least it could if it was actually producing output. Are you making output? You are waiting for enough resources to actually burn, is what I am taking away from this. Because it only gets resources after these guys cycle, after all. So yeah, that's fine. No. You are officially paused. You're not meant to be burning at all, not while there's insufficient resources over here, so this is one drawback, because it's got multiple things trying to feed. Actually, why aren't you feeding? You are not feeding because you haven't got any water. Why haven't you got any water? You are not full of water. Okay, you are not full of water. That was because you are not full of water. Because you've got... oh, I see. I never gave access permission to do brine, did I? No wonder this system wasn't working reliably. Oh. That will dump brine. In addition to sour gas. So it's wastewater, brine, and sour gas is coming out of this one. No, it's not producing wastewater, of course. Silly me. No wonder I had to say it wrong. Ah well. Off you go. Sorry, it's been a while. So end this recording session basically. What are you trying to do? Nope. Okay. You're trying to transport something. I'm going to tell you can't, just so that you don't try and do that. And I need to tell you to off vehicle inputs because you cannot do that at all. That fixes that. Right, okay, right. So, next 5 minutes, I can discuss a few bits and bobs. As I check my iron levels. Oh, mine designations. Sorry, everything seems to be breaking right now. Look at all these things over here. There we go. Sorry, let me just clear some of these. And the first little bit is starting to flow. So I think that's about to hit where I have to wrap it up for this episode, I'm afraid. Not quite managed to get everything done that I wanted to. As you can see, things are still kind of under construction, but I can give you the rundown on this little complex here. All this. We wanted a tangle. We got a tangle. Yes, we got a tangle. Okay. I've marked down a border for the iron mine. As you can see, just along here, this is going to be the outer edge. It missed a little bit of deposit under there, but not very much. Though this is a big bit here, which I'm trying to get at, must admit. Also, confession, it's not complete. It doesn't have the final stage of iron smelting, which is these guys here, cooled casters, and that's because, as I said a moment ago, I'm kind of out of time. Though it has oxygen furnaces, it has all required air separators, along with venting for everything. All that stuff. But this is essentially now throughput of 4 belts worth, which is... oh, excuse me. 4 belts, which is enough for 10 furnaces. Then the full process capability to turn all 4 belts of intake for ore into everything I could want at full pelt. So the entire output can convert to iron if that's all I want. These will be able to process all the steel if I want. If it's all running at the same time, they'll split between these 2 purposes, of course, but it will be doing a lot in terms of raw processing. If you look at raw iron for that new area, it's basically double the size of this existing setup. This is like 2.5 furnaces running here. 2.5 into 5. While this is, I tell a lie, it's 4 times the capacity actually. 2.5 into 5, and this is 10 into 20. So yeah, it's 10 to 10 as far as the oxygen furnace is concerned, because that's just the ratio for steel production, as I worked out over here. But it is all starting. We just have to get past the lack of people. And power problems, and maintenance problems. But power issues, I've got this going up over here now, which is another power plant. Coal-fired, but it runs off the local aquifer, and then condenses back down the steam as it goes. So it should actually not really be needing to tap the aquifer once it's fully cooling down everything. Actually, I tell a lie, it actually needs a second cooling tower, doesn't it? Hang on a second. Where is cooling tower? Here we go. But I don't quite have the parts for that one, but that's okay. I don't have the parts for much of anything really right now. And that's all down to the... there we go. All down to the lack of iron at the end of the day. Which is trying to get it sorted out is kind of important. I wish there was a priority up tool in here. That'd be nice. But no, there isn't. As far as I know. So that's there we go. It's all looking pretty good. I've got fixes for power, fixes for oil, a massive fix for iron once it all starts firing up properly. But you can see it's already starting to glow merrily down there. And some iron is being steadily produced as well, which is going to help. I was planning to send our little ship out to do the things, but I haven't, entirely because if we send it into a fight and it comes back damaged, we fix it with iron. If I send it off to pick me up a cargo ship, that's going to cost me iron. And if I fix the rig, that's going to cost me tier 2 parts, which cost me iron. So yeah. Lack of materials. It does look a lot more dangerous than it used to though. Look at that. Looks like a cruiser. Not bad at all. But that is 2 guns and two sets of armor plating as well. So this thing is as tough as my current tech can get it. But that also ate up like 600 odd iron or so as well. So I've just not had enough iron in reserve. Let's be honest. But that should change in the future. And hello, you guys are actually out completely now. Now what that means You served us well, all deposits, but now you must go. Which means I get some more parts around the place as well, actually. Kind of a shame, really. This setup has served me a long time, but again, it was a temporary setup, so it must be torn down. Look at all this tangle. Actually, you know what? I should be doing this, shouldn't I? Just like zoop. Yeah, just like that. The only thing left, of course, is this guy over here, but he's going to be doing his own thing for a little while longer. Also, you aren't really needed anymore. Instead, I'll transfer duties across to you. At the end of the day, this actually produces as much fuel as this one did already, so same amount of output. Though the quest is telling me to put 2 rather than 1 in terms of fluid outflow modules. So I get the feeling I might have actually had to double this up. It's just I didn't have the quest, so I didn't know what the game was recommending. Still, let's get those parts. Another 100 yellow, which is very helpful. And should help me actually get a housing upgrade, as I need it. Very tasty. That said, we are going to have to end it there. I'm being really quiet to try to avoid disturbing my neighbours. But yeah, this has been Dan Mark 3. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have been enjoying the show. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. Helps out me, helps out the channel. Gives me those virtual headpats I oh so crave. Oh yeah, that's backing up nicely, isn't it? And I'll see you all later. We're actually getting some iron going now. Right at the end of the episode, because that's when this has started to slightly stir. The beast is slowly awakening. Oh, so slowly.